Okay, so today we're going to be doing Genesis 1, verse 2. And what it says, the earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. So, as you can see, we got the word, the earth, which is the word Bahalits. Okay? And then we got the word was. Okay, so in this case, it's been written like this in our Hebrew Bibles. And if you look it up, in the Hebrew Bible. But it's the word Hatah. Hatah is she was or it was, meaning earth, is a feminine was. And then you got Hayah. Hayah is a he or it, masculine was. And if you know what a feminine is having qualities, appearance associated with women or girls. And a masculine is the same thing, having qualities, appearance associated, but with men or boys. So, let me find my eraser really quick. So let's basically pay attention to the part where it says, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. Okay? So, as we can see, we got the Spirit. Okay? Of God. And he was hovering over the face of the waters. Okay? Jesus is actually in this verse. Okay? When you look at Noah's Ark and God flooded the world with water because the world was filled with darkness. And then the Spirit of God, which is the Holy Spirit, hovered on top of the water. And I'm going to also break this down really quick. So we know Jesus is called E-S-U-S is called the olive. Okay? So we got Jesus is hovering over on this water. So we know that Jesus is called the olive. And he goes in the Garden of Gethsemane. Okay? So that word Gethsemane which means olive press. Or oil press, sorry. Oil press. And you can look that up in the Greek 1068 if you're curious about it. The word Gethsemane means oil press, and it's in 1068 or G 1068. So Jesus Christ is the olive, and when you crush an olive, it produces olive oil. And what does olive oil represent in the Bible? Olive oil equals the Holy Spirit. So, we know that water and oil can never be mixed. So, what does oil, so where does oil sit on top of the water? So, Jesus is the ark of, if the water represents the curse and the ark is riding on top of the water, now it makes sense why Jesus had to walk on the water, if you remember that part. So if that makes sense. So we got Jesus is the Spirit of God hovering over this water. Okay? But Jesus is also called the olive. Okay? And then the Garden of Gethsemane, the word Gethsemane means oil press, and that's in G 1068. And then olive oil equals the Holy Spirit. So when an olive is crushed, it produces olive oil, and the oil rides on top of that water. So that is it for verse 2 of chapter 1 of Genesis. Like I said, I hope you all enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned something out of it. And I'll be ready for verse 3 next time we talk. Thank you.